although rated much higher than tanks inherited from the Soviet Union, the number of orders for T-90s was very modest until the conflict broke out. The T-90 has been in operation since 1992 and is largely produced in Russia. Since the end of the Cold War, nearly 9,000 have been built over 30 years until early 2022. The T-90 is a derivative of the T-72. Although the T-90's performance specifications varied widely between variants, after the Cold War, the tank received the most orders of any contemporary tank design. However, before 2022, the number of T-90s in Russia is very modest. The Russian army itself only has about 420 units in operation as of early 2022. Instead, the T-90's largest operational forces are outside Russia, specifically the Indian and Algerian militaries. In the 2000s, the Indian and Algerian armies deployed about 1,150 T-90S tanks, during which time they also ordered an additional 700 T-90SA variants. India and Algeria, along with China, are among Russia's top defense customers and are also the leading countries operating a range of Russian-origin weapon systems, from Su-30 fighter to S-300 and S-400 air defense systems. The Russian army only ordered a limited number of T-90s before 2022. The main reason is that there were still many T-72 and T-80 tanks inherited after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Most of the above tanks were still in storage. By 2022, about 1,400 T-72s have been modernized to T-72B3 and B3M standards. This upgrade package is additionally equipped with a thermal emission system, a short gunner sight, a new automatic transmission, modern radio communications, and a new 2A46M5 125mm smoothbore gun. New weapons and fire control capabilities allow the improved T-72s to use new ammunition types, such as the 3BM48 armor-piercing round and the 9M119M1 anti-tank guided missile. In addition, the vehicle is also enhanced with modern variants of Contact 5 or Relic explosive reactive armor. The modernized T-72 is considered far superior to the original T-90 produced since 1992, but when compared to the T-90S variants produced in the 2010s, for sale to India and Algeria, are still less capable. Modernizing existing T-72s is considered much more cost-effective than building new tanks. Therefore, the appearance of upgraded T-72 tanks was the main factor preventing the Russian army from ordering large numbers of T-90s. Another reason why Russia did not really pay much attention to the T-90 was because a much more revolutionary tank was being developed called the T-95. The T-95 program was expected to put Russian armor units ahead of the rest of the world, just as the T-64 did in the 1960s. The T-95 was heavier than the T-90, about 55 tons, and used a remotely controlled unmanned turret with a 152mm 2A83 smoothbore gun. The tank could be equipped with unprecedented protection systems, and advanced fire control systems. However, Russia abandoned the T-95 project at the end of 2010 in favor of a more modest derivative product, but still using many of the technologies applied to the T-95, the T-14 Armata. The T-14 was expected to receive significant orders in the late 2010s, but like many of Russia's ambitious tactical weapons programs, it has been severely delayed. As a result, the Russian military still has to invest in modernizing Soviet-era T-72s and T-80s. And in 2019, Russia began to order a small number of modernized T-90 tanks, building according to T-90M standards. The first one went into operation in April 2020. The future of the Russian armored units is still difficult to predict. The significant losses of T-72 units in Ukraine are said to be the main factor motivating the Russian Ministry of Defense to increase production of T-90M to compensate. The T-14 has also been deployed to Ukraine, but only for testing purposes. Military experts have also made many speculations as to whether the conflict will speed up the T-14 program, or Russia will boost the production of more T-90M. In September 2023, the Russian Ministry of Defense also decided to mass-produce T-90 tanks at the Dung Tran mass factory. Its strong performance, and especially its mobility, has been clearly proven on the Ukrainian battlefield, and it is likely that the new T-80 variants will have features far beyond the T-90M. The T-80 used to be a more advanced and much more expensive version than the T-72. Variants of the T-80 are expected to be designed with unmanned turrets and next-generation features that were planned during the Soviet era, but were not completed due to the disintegration of the state. With the large increase in T-90 orders, this tank is expected to become the main fighting vehicle in the armored units of the Russian army and will continue to be produced for many years to continue delivering to India, Algeria, and potentially to new customers such as Belarus and Egypt.